ABC News transportation reporter Sam Sweeney joining us here on set for some more. So what more do we know about what happened? Is it indeed hypoxia?
That's what everybody's going to be focusing on. And this is not an unheard of thing. We saw this with Payne Stewart, PGA golfer. His plane took off out of Florida. It lost contact and it ended up crashing in South Dakota. Hypoxia can happen within seconds, 8 seconds, and sometimes pilots don't even know what's happening. You know, it's almost like you're under anesthesia. You get that needle and you think you're going to stay up and then you're out. And that's what happens. These fighter pilots, they went up and they saw the pilot slumped over and likely it took out everybody in that airplane.
I remember that was in 1999. I was anchoring that day. We were in breaking news coverage the entire afternoon, and it taught us a lot about, you know, hypoxia and what happens, and it was instantaneous for everybody on board. But it's not that common, so...
It's not, and that's the danger. You know, when we're on airplanes, commercial planes, we hear, help yourself before helping others when you're doing that oxygen mask, and that is because it happens so quickly. You don't have time to help somebody else. You need to get it on, and then you need to help that other person, because we are talking seconds. Now, in commercial planes, we have the oxygen masks that fall, and typically, commercial pilots, if one goes to use the restroom, the other person has to put on an oxygen mask because it can happen so quickly. But the big also question is the timeline of this. When were the FAA, NORAD, the DOD, the Pentagon notified that this plane wasn't responding? It should have been coming down gradually into the New York airspace. It didn't. It stayed at 34,000 feet. It went around Islip, MacArthur Airport, and then back towards the D.C. area. And the question is, when were those fighter pilots alerted, and why weren't they alerted earlier when it wasn't responding or descending into New York airspace?
Right, and a lot of people are asking, well, why did the military launch, you know, F-16s? That happened after 9/11. The Air Force got the detail. Well, they were a little bit asleep at the wheel at that time, but NORAD made a lot of changes that if indeed a plane enters airspace that's restricted, you call the Air Force to launch and try to bring the plane down. And if not, if it's a threat, if it's a terrorist, they're trained to take it out.
Exactly, and we need to know when those pilots were notified. We know that they went supersonic. We heard those booms, and they did that to catch up with this plane. But by that point, it was already past the D.C. area, and we've heard that the White House and the Capitol went on a heightened alert. They didn't go on red alert, so they didn't evacuate, but they were watching this closely. But they knew that the threat was minimal at 34,000 feet. The good news is here, if there is any, is that this did not crash in a populated area.
Oh, amen to that. Well, I know the investigation continues. We'll follow up and hopefully find out what happened within that cockpit.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
All right.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.